recognition is maybe a small piece of a bigger puzzle that makes every organization thrive, and that's trust.
Yes.
You've said it on this podcast, you say it over and over again, organizations move at the speed of trust. Unpack that a little bit. Tell us what that actually means.
Yeah, I think that Stephen M.R. Covey even wrote a book about this, but it's the whole concept that when we have a relationship and trust each other, things are going to always go funny, right? Like in business things, there's always something that goes a little weird and you're like, why did that happen? Why did that person not do that thing? But when we have a relationship and we have high trust, I always start with the benefit of the doubt. I'm like, oh man, I bet Alex, was super busy that day, or this emergency thing popped up and so it fell off.
Oh, so you assume the best about people.
I assume the best. Yes.
And expect that they do the same for you.
And the reality is we should always assume the best.
Yeah.
But you just have more empathy, you have more understanding, you're willing to kind of go at it and go, this is an anomaly, right? I know that person's heart and this is an anomaly with the way that they work. Whereas if you don't have trust with someone, let's say there's someone, they're always a jerk in your office. They forget something, you're like, yep, there's that jerk. I knew he was a jerk. It reaffirms what you already thought in your head.
You will find what you're looking for in that way.
Yes, and so we can run so much faster when I trust our team. Think about when a football team is getting ready for a Super Bowl. They have to all trust each other and know the quarterback's going to throw that ball. And when he throws that ball, he knows that person's going to be in that pocket. And otherwise, it slows everything down because you're overthinking it. You're like, are they going to do I need to over-communicate that?
I can't do my job and think about you having to do your job as well. We just all need to trust that we're going to do our job.
Think about if you could take for granted that everyone is going to operate with excellence and everyone is going to work and care as hard as you do. Think about how much faster your organization runs.
That's a pretty powerful place. Okay, so related to that, I know you do one-on-one mentor sessions at our Master Series event. You sit down with business owners, business leaders, and you coach them. Does this trust idea impact those conversations and those questions a lot?
Yes.
Okay,
and
tell us
half
about
of our
that.
audience is family businesses. And so what is so fascinating, let's talk about, it impacts everybody. But when I look at our family business people especially, you would think that, they're family. Of course they have high trust. No, you can't take that for granted. There's things that leak. If your relationship is unhealthy and you don't have trust relationally, that does spill over into your work. So if you are a married couple or if you are a parent, I had one group that I was meeting with and it was two grown men and their mother and father. And the mother and father were probably in their 70s. So you can do the math. These people were all grown.
And they were all working in the business.
And they were all working in the business.
Wow.
So we're breaking down the problems that they're seeing. And I'm thinking they are approaching this like these are business issues when these are relational trust issues. There was a son that felt like his father had never told him before that he was proud of him in his entire life.
Holy
and
cow.
That he liked his brother more.
You're playing the role of counselor at that point.
Oh yeah, I was way in over my head. I was like, okay, here we go. We're going to buckle up.
But I think that gets to the point. It's that we think we're family. Of course we trust each other. One of the things that you tell our team over and over again is that trust is intentionally built. And you even have steps that you tell us you have to walk through to actually create trust.
Yes.
Walk our audience through what those steps are.
Okay, so this is our genius HR director, Armando, told me this once, and it is the perfect way to explain this. Because when you think about trust, there is, do I trust you as a person? Like, do I trust your integrity, right? Mm-hmm. And then there's, do I trust your competency? And people can get very offended when you say, I don't trust you, because they assume that you mean, but I have lots of integrity. I would never do, but that's not always what people are saying. Mm-hmm. I don't trust your competency that you're going to do what you say, that you're going to be able to perform at the level that you have committed to performing. Mm-hmm. It's not because you don't want to. It's because I don't know that you have the capacity to do that. So when I talk through this with our team, everybody wants to influence everything. They want to be involved in certain decisions. They want to influence their peers to do things a certain way or influence the business to go a certain direction. Well, before you get to influence, let's talk about the first step is you have to build rapport.
That's step one.
Yes, step one. People have to actually like working with you.
Shocking.
I know, but we never talk about it. It's like, well, yes, people have to like working with you. If they don't like working with you, you're never going to influence them. There's never going to be trust.
So you're so good at this. What are just the base level things that regardless of how long you've been in an organization, you should be doing all the time to make sure you're maximizing likability?
Okay, I'm just going to tell you my number one cheat in life.
Okay.
It's ask questions. Ask questions, be genuinely curious, and understand what other people are thinking, knowing where they're at emotionally, what's going on with them. All of that context helps you put together the puzzle of how to create a win-win in every situation. But if you start with what you just want to tell that person, You're not building rapport.
At all.
You're just waiting to talk.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so build rapport is step number one. You have to be likable. People have to like working with you. Otherwise, they'll start working around you. All right, step number two is credibility.
Okay, rapport, credibility.
Yeah, just be good at your freaking job. I mean, it's like,
tweet that.
hello.
Just be good at your freaking job.
I'm full of it today. Today, it's like, make people like you, be good at your job.
Yeah.
I'm not teaching rocket science here. It's just what it is. Like, you have got to do a really great job at the responsibilities in front of you. You have to be excellent in the small things so that you can be given bigger things. We hear this concept, but we forget that that's how you get to influence. If you are just constantly thinking about what's that next bigger, brighter, shinier, more visible thing, but meanwhile, I'm not actually making any sales, or meanwhile, I'm not actually being productive on my mastermind calls for my clients, I really don't care what you have to say. Because if you haven't figured out a way to win in the responsibilities that you've first taken on, why would I have any confidence that you could reach to that next level and crush it at the next level of responsibility?
So these are truly the prerequisites to earning people's trust.
Absolutely.
And that happens from above or below on the org chart, whether you're the leader or not.
Oh my gosh, I think that's the biggest misconception. You get hired into a new role, or let's say you get promoted above your peers and you think, I now have this positional authority, my title says director, so you will listen to me because I am automatically smarter. It's such a joke.
Yeah, and it's certainly not sustainable either.
No, I have a gun on the table and I'm going to make you listen to me.
That's what you're saying in that moment.
Yes. Do you think how long is that going to last?
Yeah, maybe for a day.
And people are going to be pissed.
Yeah, well, that's the day that I'm going to submit my resume to other places.
Yes, it's anarchy at that point. I'm either going to stay but be resentful of you, or I'm going to leave.
Yeah.